to complement the building you can see in the distance there on the hill. That was a hotel, and there was nothing much else here in Saltdean at that time. It was the hotel and this and a swimming pool, and it was for rich Londoners to come down for their holidays, to stay in the hotel and come swim in the pool. And since 1938, when this opened, till 1960s, there was lots of new houses built, all these houses here. So people started living here. But the whole of this community centre was run by Brighton and Hove Council, so it was paid for by taxpayers. But they never spent enough money on it. So during the last 50, 60 years, the building has crumbled and it's eventually closed. We can still use parts of it, and you'll see later as we take you around what we've been doing. But generally speaking, as a community centre, it's the centre of the whole town. Everybody comes here to use it for meetings, for conferences, for swimming. But the swimming pool hasn't been used for 5 or 6 years. When we were all local residents at that time, we lived here. And when we heard that there was a plan to knock this down and build flats and houses, a number of us got together to start a campaign group to resist knocking this down. So that's us. We are a group of volunteers, and we managed to persuade Brighton and Hove Council to let us take over. And we had to raise money. There's no money. Brighton and Hove Council have not been able to give us very much money, but we got together as a group, and Brighton and Hove Council gave us the permission to raise the money and transform this building. So the first phase of that was to look at the swimming pool, because that's the thing everybody wants. They want the swimming pool. And it was always there from 1938, but it was cold water, and in this climate, that's not good. Cold water means people only swam in August. So financially, that's not a good model. So when we took over, we managed to raise £3.5 million, and we completely demolished the old swimming pool and had it rebuilt. So what you're going to see today is the brand new swimming pool, which will open in 3 weeks' time. And it's heated, so hot water. But in England, we've got very strict rules about heritage, very strict rules. And we wanted solar panels, and we wanted green energy, wind turbines to power the heating pump for the pool, but we're not allowed because of the heritage rules. Because this was a 1930s Art Deco building, we had to maintain the visual impact of an Art Deco building from 1930s. And of course, wind turbines and solar panels, not allowed. So we can't do it in a very green way.
The original plan was to destruct this.
Our plan, no, we can't knock it down.
The original plan was to knock it down?
No.
And then
Not your plan, but
Not your plan,
before.
but before.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
but you
Knock it
are
down.
obliged to keep this in the original style.
It has to look like this. It must.
Do you know why it became a popular seaside resort?
Closest to London, something?
Good point, closer to London. And we had a Prince Regent, King George the Fourth. So King George the Fourth. So you know the king that went mad.
Yeah.
This was his son. So he was a little bit mad, but he was very artistic and very creative, and he decided that he wanted a seaside palace. So in Brighton, he bought a farmhouse, and it was extended into this very ornate Indian, Chinese-inspired palace. And that started off Brighton as a seaside resort. So he started off the fashion, the trend, to come on holiday by the sea. So hence Brighton became this very popular Georgian and then Victorian seaside resort. So are you going to go and see the pier later, are you? Or
I think so, yeah.
I don't
Maybe.
know. Maybe another trip. But there's lots of wonderful Georgian, Victorian architecture in Brighton. So, and Brighton's quite densely populated. This area is known as Saltdean. Dean is an old English word for valley, and I think it has roots in Latin, German roots as well. But yeah, so Dean means valley, and in this area with the South Downs, there were lots of valleys all the way along the coast. This area has been populated since the Stone Age. They found Stone Age artefacts. In the park behind you, they found a Bronze Age barrow. They found burial urns. They found Roman coins up on the cliff tops and various artefacts. But then after the Roman period, it all stopped. No one lived in Saltdean. It became farmland. And it was farmland right up until before the First World War. Then we had a Yorkshireman, an entrepreneur who'd grown up in Canada and America, and he was a property developer. One day he was driving with his wife in their vintage automobile along the track from New Haven to Brighton, and they saw all this wonderful farmland which was used for grazing sheep and other cattle. And he said to his wife Dorothy, "I think this would make a beautiful place for people to live by the sea and invest in homes, but also come here on holiday." So that was just before the First World War. It took him until the 1920s to buy up all the land in this area, and then he set about a plan to build this holiday resort, and this is what Saltdean became. Originally, this was designed to look like the bow of an ocean liner. So have you heard of the Queen Mary? The famous ocean liner. So this whole space here was designed to look like the proud bow of a ship, which was very glamorous in the 1930s. So for lots of people that would never have been able to afford to go on the Queen Mary, this was the next best thing. You could pay sixpence, which is about £1 in today's money, and you could come along and enjoy this really lovely space and feel that you were maybe on a Hollywood movie set or something like that. So these doors would open right up, and they're called Isavian doors, and the design comes from aircraft hangars. So these wooden doors were used in the 1920s, for aircraft hangar spaces. So they became very popular in Art Deco buildings. So yeah, what we're going to do is, so this stage area either side, we're going to, as part of our restoration work, we're going to break this away. This column will become a glass spiral staircase, and we are reinstating access to the roof around the building. They're doing what they can do to contain it, to stop the rot, and they've helped us with our planning. Because in order to make this financially sustainable, we've had to make some changes. So we're knocking down all the 1960s bits of the buildings, because they're in a worse state than the 1938 part of the building. And so a lot of controversial stuff that we plan to do, so they're supporting us with giving us planning permission and such. And allowing us to bring you people today. Because technically we still don't have the lease for this building. It's waiting to be signed over once the money is in place.